solve anything in the end.
Despite his lawyer's attempts to enter a plea of insanity, the judge found Gordon guilty of second-degree murder. He is currently serving a sentence of 16 years to life in the State Medical Corrections Facility in Vacaville, California.
He has to live with what he did. How much more punishment could he have brought down on his head? The guilt for his family, he has to be overwhelmed by it.
On August 8th, 2009, Michael Wiener finally succumbed to the cancer that had plagued him for much of his life.
I think he's got a bum rap on a lot of things. A lot of people really don't like him, but I liked him. He was a straight shooter with us.
I really loved that guy. I felt a warmth always towards him.
He had a sensitivity that something about him that I liked. I think it was the fact that he would listen.
He was a smart record producer because he let the people who were the musicians create the music. He hired the right people to do the job and let them do it.
I actually wrote something for his funeral. I really miss him.
The last time I talked to him was just a few days before he died. And I just told him, I said, I love you. And he said, I love you too.
Michael Wiener was a friend of mine. He was one of a kind.
I miss him. I wish more people were like him.
In the years since the recording of the tracks, the incredible Bongo Band's music has gone on to inspire a new generation of creators, to touch the souls of millions, to have a global influence that no one could have possibly imagined. In January of 2011, almost 40 years after the original sessions took place, musicians involved with the incredible Bongo Band returned to the same recording studio to create new music.
To A flat minor, to D flat minor. There we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I was listening to Hawaii Five-0 and the theme song, you know, and the thing that you guys put together was amazing. I love the bongos and I really love the horns. Those two parts is like how I wanted to create my own hip-hop track. So I chopped it up into like 4, 5, 6, around 6 different pieces.
In the early years when we were recording, we used the razor instead of this thing, using the computer. Barry Gordy always used to say, it's not a hit record unless you use the razor. Okay, you turned it around.
Yeah. Flipped it around, you know, so that's one way of creating out of a sample, you know, like it doesn't have to be the original way, but it still sounds pretty natural, like how it came out, so.
Play that again for me, I like that.
Oh, the bongo part?
Yeah, I may have to learn that.
lot of the greatest gems that you will find in the history of hip-hop were made from cats that had a love of the music and, you know, weren't even trying. I'm borderline beyond certain that no one in that session knew that they were going to make one of the greatest recordings of all time for the world of hip-hop.
I wish I could tell you that I envisioned any of it. We just did what we liked, which is the best thing that one can do anyway.
It was incredible. I hear these things and I think, wow, listen to that.
Honestly, it's not that great a record. I mean, a lot of the tracks on it are kind of cheesy, kind of TV show theme type of tracks, but there are pieces of tracks that are great.
If you listen to 90% of the rappers in the world today is rapping off of me and Jim Gordon.
I think it certainly is a credit to King and to Jimmy Gordon. Those wonderful free-wheeling middle sections of each one of the tunes we did.
Technically, it should have been called the King Harris and Jim Gordon Bongo Band.
Some artists don't find their place in history until many years pass.
You would never figure out how one song can have amazing impact played at regular speed in the 80s and then chopped up and reformatted in the 90s and now played twice as fast on 45 in the new millennium. But it's happening, and I predict that probably in 2020 they'll figure out a new way. Maybe they'll play Apache backwards.
As we become probably intergalactic human beings in the next couple of years, that, you know, they're trying to get us into that whole space thing, is definitely going to be played when we be going from planet to planet. Incredible Bongo Band will be there.
Take a poll on everybody's favorite record, I couldn't see nobody I'm talking real hip hop that would have to be in their top three. No, you know, that would have to be, and for me, it would average out to be the #1 record.
The reason that stuff stands up is because we really had to play. We were the guys were all the best guys and the strongest guys. So that's why the stuff still stands up to this day. It's got some life to it, you know.
I've been to Japan, London, Prague. I've been around the world like 3 times, and once you put Apache on, that's when all the b-boys go in the middle of the floor, form a little circle, and that's when everybody gets electrified, you know?
And you hear those beats, they're as identifiable as a Led Zeppelin guitar riff, as identifiable as a James Brown scream.
It grabbed me when I was 5 years old, and I never let go.
It feels so good.
Apache will last forever, I predict.